Share the screen. Yeah, we're good. Great. Well, thank you so much for agreeing to meet with me today.
Of course, it's no problem at all. Thank you for making the trip here, especially in this weather.
Yeah, I know it's pretty bad out there right now, but we made it.
Good.
Yeah,
Thank you for doing it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm so glad Holly was able to connect us. How do you know her?
Holly and I have known each other since college, so a long time. Yeah, and now we just get together with our kids and do family trips together, things
Oh,
like
that's
that.
so awesome. Yeah, I know we went to high school together, so I've known her also for quite some
Oh, that's
time.
good. Yeah, you're probably the Megan she talks about.
Maybe,
I
who
heard
knows?
your name. Yes,
Yeah, I know she's actually in Florida right now. Have you ever been to Florida?
I have quite a few times. Yes.
Yeah, I know. I wish we were there right now, but here we are stuck in a snowstorm.
Great. Lucky her. I'm sure she'll be posting all kinds of beautiful pictures.
Oh, I know. I'm already jealous. So guess we'll be excited to see those.
Right. For sure.
Yeah, well, anyways, as I said in our last phone call, my name is Megan Simon, and I'm a sales representative for Raw Nutrition, which is a supplement company that provides a range of items from pre-workouts to protein powders. And we really just try to strive to get athletes to get to their peak performance with our products. Yeah, so I'm really excited to show you about the benefits of Raw Nutrition today. So our agenda, what I had was I was going to ask you a few questions, kind of get a feel about, Dick's Sporting Goods and their pre-workout currently. And then I was going to tell you a little bit about Raw Nutrition and our pre-workout and just how they might benefit you being on your shelf. So we have 7 right now. And I was just going to tell you how by having them on your shelf and online could really benefit you guys, if that sounds good. Otherwise, I can add, if you want to add anything to that agenda, we can.
Just if you have some pricing, my buying team like to see the prices as well.
Yeah, definitely. Great. Well, I was going to take a few notes when I ask some questions, if you're okay with that.
Of course, yes.
Great. So first, I was just wondering if there was, for the next steps, if we might need to get anyone else involved, or, if we end up going through with this, if we need to get other people in on this process.
Well, I will be honest, I can make the final decision on any new brands that we bring in. But I do involve our buying team once we decide on selecting specific items, quantities, even a little bit on like the in-store and promotions that we'll do, like marketing support.
Yeah, definitely. And then for all your Dick's locations, do you carry all the same pre-workout, or is it differ from store to store? How does that work?
We have pretty similar brands that are carried in each location, but the quantities and the flavors and types would differ. We do have buying teams that have different regions throughout the country, and so it does vary. Online, we have all of them.
Yeah.
In store, it's a little limited.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then what % of your customers would you say enjoy living a healthy lifestyle?
Well, it's a big portion of our customer type because we are obviously focused on athletics and sports, really for all ages and family as well.
Yeah, and then I know I was kind of looking at your pre-workout selection right now, and C4 is kind of the only main brand that I see on your guys' shelf. Do you have any concerns about holding such a wide range of customers, but like not many huge options for them to choose from?
Yeah, I mean, we have a few beyond that. C4, you would see pretty much in all stores because it is our top seller for brand. We have Beyond Raw, Ghost, and we just recently added Optimum Nutrition, just a select few of that. It is a growing, we've noticed sales increase and we've seen some growth. So we do want to have more than just one brand. But C4 was our original brand. So
definitely. And then what do you see as missing in your current pre-workout suppliers that you guys carry?
What's missing with like what they offer? I wouldn't necessarily know that much. I mean, being that I'm a purchasing director, I don't necessarily know that much on pre-workouts. But I do know when I see the numbers and I see the growth, I just see the potential for more opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. And then what happens at Dick's when a customer is looking for a certain pre-workout, but you guys don't carry what they're looking for to reach their goals? How do you go about that situation?
Yeah, well, I'm not in store at getting those questions, but I do know that a lot of times right now we're looking to stay competitive, but we also have a lot of competition in each area of our business. So when we look at like nutritional supplements, there's entire stores that sell supplements and online, and they're getting a lot of growth. So we just want to capture like a small portion of the market, not like try to compete directly, if that makes sense.
Definitely, yeah. And kind of I know you were saying like those supplement shops such as like GNC, are you ever worried about losing those customers that are just going to go to those stores and not even go to Dick's Sporting Goods looking for pre-workouts?
In a way, yes. Like, so our goal is to capture business and to build the cart and the basket size when customers are already in store. So if they're there for other types of items, we want to make sure that they have some pre-workout or other nutritional supplements. Are we going to serve everyone? Probably not 100% based on our space, but we want to have enough where we're capturing that because then it increases our sales overall.
Yeah, and then if I could show you how, expanding your brand and variety in pre-workout, how Raw Nutrition could do that, would you be interested in hearing a little bit about that?
Of course, yeah.
Definitely. Well, I have a little presentation just to show you about Raw Nutrition. So our company was actually established pretty recently. It was 2020,
Wow.
and we've just kind of been on the rise ever since as a company. And just the market trend in general for pre-workout is already pretty big and it's on the rise. So in 2022, it was 14.2 billion, and it's estimated to grow almost 8% by the year 2030. So just the market itself is already huge. So having more variety in your shelf could really benefit you as a company, even just in the industry itself. And then a little bit about the co-founder, so Matt Jansen. He was really stating how they care a lot about individual ingredients. They don't like cutting corners. They want to add what's going to benefit the consumer, but not go above that to add a bunch of fluff ingredients and confuse people and, add stuff that they don't need. And that also really just goes with their motto, built from the ground up. As I kind of said, they're going to add ingredients that are going to benefit them. They're not going to go crazy. And we also are third-party tested, which is a big thing just for trust and safety with the products itself. So that's also could be really beneficial for Dick's, is knowing that you have a trusted brand, it's credible, and you can even see it right on the website that, they're not going to harm the consumers for consuming these products. And then a little bit of our ingredients. We have a few main ingredients we keep consistent in our pre-workouts. We got agmatine sulfite and nitrogen, which is really good for blood flow into the muscles. We got glycosides, which is for like nutrients and hydration. And then we have the alpha GPC and huperzine A, which is really beneficial for focusing and learning. So these are just a few of them. They might sound a little confusing if you're not used to all the pre-workout and ingredients, but basically these are just a few of our ingredients that we like to keep consistent because we've seen that they have results and that they can benefit the consumers. And then here's the 7 pre-workouts that we're hoping to get to Dick's Sporting Goods shelf and online. I just wanted you to be able to visually see kind of what they look like, and then I can go a little more in depth with them on the next slide here. So the first one we have is Essential Pre-Workout, which is actually designed by Chris Bumstead. I don't know if you know of him. He's a pretty big guy in the fitness industry. We'll get into him in a little bit here. But so that one is newly released actually, and it's geared towards people that are new to the fitness realm and just kind of trying things out. So it's a little less caffeine in it. Then we have the Raw Pre, which is our all-in-one pre-workout. That's kind of the basic. If you want pre-workout, you go to that one. Then we have the Raw Pre Extreme, which is kind of the upped version of that Raw Pre. And then the Thavage is also designed by Chris Bumstead, but that one is geared more towards the opposite of the Essential one. So more heavy pre-workout users, people that have been using it for a long time with higher caffeine. Then we got the Raw Pump, which, as you can kind of guess, is for, explosive pumps. And then Raw Pump 2, which is made with the same things as the Raw Pump, just a little more stable form of the glycerol. And then the Pico 2 is our last one that we have right now, which actually has a combination of 6 adaptogenic mushrooms that were grown in the US. So as you can see, we have a lot of different options here, and they all have very different purposes. Do you see how having such a wide variety on your shelves could benefit you with your consumers?
Yeah, I like the idea of having options for various. I would be interested if you had any information on which ones are going over like the best in the market. Is there any that because we usually aren't able to take on all 7 different new products at once. We usually start with 3 or 4 in a new brand, and then if they sell well, we'll expand from there. Yeah, and I can definitely understand that. So are you more concerned about, shelf space? So you're trying to kind of see which ones might have the best outcomes. Is that what I'm hearing you're looking for? Yeah, and mostly just looking for which ones would go over the best with just the general population, because we don't really know if they're bodybuilders or beginners. Definitely. We do have a huge family focus with younger athletes all the way up to people who may be into the bodybuilding. So yeah, and I feel right now the Chris Bumstead line is actually really huge because he's a pretty big name to people in the athletic industry, and we actually have 2 different types of his pre-workout. We have the Thavage and the Essential Pre, which I'll also talk a little bit about more, but they differ drastically because one of them is geared more towards beginners and one's more towards experience. So I would definitely stick with those 2 so you have a range. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, and then I would maybe add in like the Raw Pre or Raw Pump also, just so you have at least one of every kind of type, Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, you still have kind of a concern about the different types and which ones are. No, I think having 4 kind of uniquely different for a line would be a good way to start. Great. Well, to go a little more in depth on our athletes, as I was saying, we have several featured athletes, one of whom is Chris Bumstead, as I mentioned. He is actually the 4-time Mr. Olympia bodybuilding competition champion. So he's actually a pretty recent guy in the news if you keep up with the athletic
industry and all that. And then we also have Brett Wilkin, Laureline Chapados, and Emily Prabula. And these athletes basically, they see the benefit of Raw. They want to showcase it to others, so they want it to be one of the featured athletes. So it really just helps build credibility to the brand, and consumers are gonna, if they follow one of these people on social media and they'll see them promoting it, oh, maybe I'll go check it out. So it's really good for marketing purposes. As you can see over here, a great thing you could do is put a poster or a cutout of these athletes, buy the product in the Dick's Sporting Goods store, and it really just, it draws the attention. It's gonna, it's eye-catching, you're gonna see it, and ultimately it's just gonna end up getting more profit for Dick's Sporting Goods. So utilizing these athletes is really key to helping your sales go up also.
Okay.
Yeah. And then a little bit about how I was talking, we had the two different options. I kind of already went in depth with it. The Savage one is just kind of an upped version, higher servings, higher price point, higher ingredients. And then the Essential Pre, it's a cheaper price point. If you're starting out sensitive to caffeine, that could really be beneficial. So it's really good to have these just to gear it towards all the different types of consumers.
Okay.
Yeah. And then price, I know we didn't really talk on price and you wanted to mention pricing. So on the consumer end of things, it's actually very affordable if you break it down per serving. This is like the highest price point one and the lowest price point, and it ranges from $1 to $1.25 per serving. Okay. So I don't know if do you ever get those pre-mixed drinks at the store? Are you ever getting those like C4 drinks? It ends up being what, like $3, $4? Right. And then if you actually break it down, this is significantly cheaper. So if your consumers ever have an issue with that, I mean, breaking it down per serving, it's actually really reasonable.
Okay.
Yeah, and then profit margins. I know you're probably wondering profits for you guys. We do a 20 to 30% profit margin, which is pretty comparable to the industry, I would say. Yeah. So up to 19 cases, we can give you a 20% profit margin, and then 20 to 29, we can give you 25%, and then any case over 30 amount, we can give you 30% profit margins. And that's mixing any types of pre-workouts that we have for you here. Okay. So yeah, that's a little bit about Raw Nutrition. And after just seeing the variety and what we have, is there any reason you could see Dick's Sporting Goods not benefiting from having, our products on your shelf?
No, I think you went over a lot of good information. I think I could take some information to our buying team. I like the recommendation. I'll kind of make a note of the 4 that you pointed out. And then you also said you would do some marketing support or at least assist with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it all looks really good at this point.
Great. Would you mind me putting you down just on a sheet, maybe like 5 cases of each different type that we talked about? You can bring it to your buying team and we can finalize things when we meet up. Maybe put things online even before we meet up, just so that it's, getting rolling as soon as we can.
Yeah, I could do, if you want to get the order form sent over and then put out those 4, I'll have them maybe complete the exact amount, but if it's a certain amount per store, they'll know the exact numbers. But yeah, let's move forward on that.
Sounds great. Are you free Monday, maybe at noon, and we can finalize some things?
Yeah, just send me a quick email and I should be available usually around lunchtime.
Sounds great. It was really nice to meet with you.
You as well. Thanks.